Two, and addresses the processing needs of our people. It is possible that we can implement this manifesto in 4 years. In the 5th year, we shall just be rejoicing with voters and asking for another Kisanja again. If we can put our money to the intended use.
The committee will address corruption to ensure accountability. She called upon the committee to monitor government projects on ground and make sure there is value for money.
We need to further prioritize and scrutinize the budget on those areas that will facilitate quick recovery. You are aware that we are down because of COVID, and therefore I don't need to overemphasize that point.
The chairman of the committee, Thomas Tayewa, says the committee will ensure that the budget is not distorted by Parliament.
Mainly what we don't want is distorting the budget. The President has been complaining so much about Parliament distorting the budget. So it's because priorities that are set, the MPs couldn't feel them, that indeed these are clear priority areas.
Strategies will be laid to bring more people on the tax-paying bracket as honesty with the resource envelope.
So we are trying to ensure that we are very honest with our resource envelope. If we project and we say because of COVID we are going to have only 30 trillion, only 35 trillion, that's what we are going to budget in. This business of allocating money in the budget when we cannot realize it with our resource envelope, please, we are going to stop it.
Jane Ramcha reporting for UBC.
And as you can see, Elizabeth Nakakoni is already with us there on sign language. Now, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has called upon Ugandans to join the fight against corruption, a vice, she says, cannot only be defeated by government. Mrs. Museveni, who is also the National Champion Ambassador for Integrity campaign, was launching the 2021 anti-corruption campaign at State House, Entebbe.
Symbol for the launch of the anti-corruption campaign this year.
The 2021 anti-corruption campaign on the theme promoting active citizen participation in social accountability has been launched by the First Lady Janet Museveni at State House Entebbe in the presence of both state and non-state corruption agencies.
Thank you very much, Mama.
The campaign empowers citizens at the grassroots to demand for accountability.
So there is a weakness.
The First Lady, who is also the National Champion Ambassadors for Integrity campaign, Janet Museveni, decried the general weakness to fight corruption in society, where citizens think it's a role of leaders in government.
Having so many agencies may not necessarily fight this evil and defeat it. It requires each individual amongst us to really stand firm and know what we are fighting and how we can fight.
Mrs. Museveni hailed the NRM government for its people-centered programs that have been ruined by a few selfish individuals.
But there was a time I went to a district. I don't need to mention the name of the district. But I was supposed to see a dam that would have been dug in that district. And it had been paid for twice. So much. I can't even tell you the money that paid for that dam. But I got there and I found a windmill standing in the middle of the bush. There was no dam. Not even a hole in the ground. And so much money is lost, and people don't get the services they require, and the government lose the money, and so we're all losers.
Minister of State for Ethics and Integrity Rosa Lili says intimidating investigators, delayed investigations, and corruption syndicates are among the challenges facing corruption fight in the country.
I know so-and-so has done it, and I don't want to say it, because tomorrow if I do it also, that person should not mention my name. So it is all about a syndicate of corruption within us. I'm not ashamed to say that, Mama. It is us, the leaders, who are having that corruption. It is us who are doing that.
We need to change the mentality from, oh, everybody does it, and what's the big deal? There's a lot of money there in government. Who will miss it if I pocket some of it? And make it clear this is a very serious and ugly crime. But this mentality change is a midterm project. We also need short-term results.
The First Lady, who also commissioned the Integrity Focal Persons and the Zero Tolerance to Corruption Policy Steering Committee, led by Bishop Joshua Dwele, pledged to support the bottom-up strategy to fight the vice.
Because I wish people could know that you can never prosper when you steal. Especially when people steal to go and build a family home. You can't live in a family home which you have built with money that is stolen. That home is a curse to your family.
The virtual ceremony attracted participants from all state and non-state anti-corruption agencies. Bernard Higa, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Bernard Iga. Now, the government of Uganda has received another batch of COVID-19 vaccines of 700,000 doses of Sinovac from China. The vaccine was officially received by the Minister for Primary Health Care, Margaret Mohanga, and was handed over by the China representative in Uganda at Uganda National Medical Stores in Entebbe.
The reception ceremony was at National Medical Stores in Entebbe, where the Minister of State for Health in charge of primary health care, Margaret Mohanga, handed over the received vaccine of 700,000 doses of Sinovac from China.
It's really an exciting day for us because we are receiving now 700,000 more doses of Sinovac, which will help us vaccinate a bigger population, so that we can open our economy fully.
However, Mohanga explained on the first beneficiaries.
Remember that we had earlier received a consignment of 300,000, and so we are going to target the teachers who had already taken the first dose, such that once we finish with those, we can roll out the 400,000 more doses.
We already gave 300,000 doses of Sinovac in the field. Now we are going to distribute 300,000 in equal measure to those same districts. The balance, which is 400,000, we will issue half of that in the field together with these which are going for second dose. The half we will issue it after 1 month.
She also urged the public to remain vigilant and observe SOPs as issued by the Ministry of Health.
The Ministry of Health would like to continue reminding the general public not to relax the SOPs. COVID is still with us. Kindly let us keep a social distance, wear our masks properly, and then we shall fight the pandemic together. The
countries, especially among developing countries. We hope this batch of vaccines will greatly facilitate Uganda side's efforts in vaccination programs.
The Ministry of Health says currently the government has received over 6 million doses of vaccines, and Ugandans are possibly responding to vaccination exercise.
Now, Ministry of Health is set to vaccinate a target number of 8.5 million children against polio. The vaccination targets children from 0 to 5 years of age, and parents have been urged to embrace this exercise.
Ministry of Health and partners will start the polio vaccination, targeting 8.5 million children of 5 years and below. Recently, the country reported cases of vaccine-derived polio type 2. Polio is a viral infection highly contagious among children of 5 years and below. As the country prepares to commemorate World Polio Day due 24th October, Ministry of Health will start mass vaccination of children.
We are going to vaccinate 8.5 children, and the doses we have received are adequate to cover that population.
We are using the new modified vaccine, which is genetically very stable and unlikely to cause any paralysis as well.
To prevent entry of new polio variants into the country, Ministry of Health has strengthened the surveillance at border points.
Now, for populations which are moving, particularly if they are refugees, we have what we call the initial service package. When we receive numbers of people coming into the country, we screen for immunization status and we vaccinate every refugee who is coming into the country against the polio.
And there are two clear ways that we can use to eradicate this polio from this planet. One is to ensure that every eligible person, and these are normally children who are below 5 years, they should be given the adequate doses they deserve.
I've been involved in various activities. We do mobilize the communities to sensitize them so that they are aware about polio.
The Ministry of Health will conduct countrywide sensitization to inform parents and guardians to embrace the polio vaccination exercise. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, with the cabinet vacuum, members of parliament have called for designation of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister pending the appointment of a substantive portfolio holder. This follows the move by the Legal Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament to deny Deputy Attorney General audience during the committee proceedings.
I raise on a point of procedure. This morning, the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee considered the law revision fines and other financial amounts in criminal matters.
This was the procedure issue for which Gomba West Member of Parliament Robina Rwakojo sought guidance from Parliament. Rwakojo claimed that the absence of the Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister was derailing activities of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee.
Deputy Attorney General informed us that his appointment was merely for Deputy Attorney General and not for Minister of State for Justice, so he's not holding the portfolio for the minister.
This did not earn a listening ear from the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya.
The person sent to you is presumed to have the knowledge to assist the committee come to the conclusion it needs to come to. Answer questions that are necessary for giving guidance on issues that might not be that clear. How would you, as a Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, send away a Deputy Attorney General?
Neither an appeal nor an explanation was enough to convince the Speaker.
I really think probably it was an oversight on the part of the committee not to have entertained the Deputy Attorney General. It is not that a minister cannot represent government or the other, but it should be formally designated. And there must be formal information or communication in that respect.
We need to sometimes look for the bigger purpose and serve it than create unnecessary roadblocks in the way of this parliament getting access and proceeding within the timelines, because now we are losing time.
Jacob Olanya's argument is in agreement with a recent clarification made by ICT and National Guidance Minister, Dr. Chris Bariomunsi.
The Attorney General, who is also Minister, also covers that position of Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. In any case, there is a Deputy Attorney General who is also a Minister of State for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, so there isn't a gap per se.
However, some members of Parliament insist that a substantive Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs must be appointed to address operational gaps.
Right now, we don't have the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. We need him, and we demand him to appoint that minister in order for the ministry to run on smoothly.
Shortly after taking oath in May 2021, President Yoweri Museveni named a new cabinet, with Jessica Alupo as the Vice President and Robin Banja as Prime Minister. Despite existence of the Attorney General and his deputy, the position of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister is yet to be filled. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, the Office of the Prime Minister has delivered food relief, including 100 tons of maize flour and 30 tons of beans to people of Moroto. The food will be supplied to vulnerable people like the elderly, expectant and breastfeeding mothers, and this is in fulfillment of President Museveni's pledge of rescuing people affected by hunger.
Flooding, like just giving smaller heads like this.
Moroto district has been going through a hunger crisis for some time. This was due to the insecurity where people could not access their gardens and climate change, which resulted into poor harvests due to crop failure. Moroto leaders raised concern over hunger in the region to the relevant authorities. Over 20 people were reported to have died in Moroto district in the past month.
Now in the districts of Moroto, we have registered deaths, especially of the elderly people. Good number of our grown-up persons in the villages are dying. We already have records of about 24 elderly persons that have died in Moroto district.
The district has finally got food relief from Office of the Prime Minister,
whereby the OPM has supplied relief food supply worth 100 tons of maize flour and 30 tons of beans to the entire district. We thank the OPM, we thank the President for this fulfillment.
The food was transported by World Food Programme. Moroto municipality leaders called upon government for more food relief, especially during this disarmament period.
Exercise, I know we are going to be faced with a lot of challenges. People may fail to go to the gardens because of these criminals. But however, government is under control. It's under control. All parameters were taken care. Definitely we will go through and the disarmament exercise will be successful. So I'm appealing government to continue supporting us during this disarmament period.
Residents District Commissioner James Shilaku urged leaders not to divert relief to well-off people, but focus on the vulnerable like the elderly, mothers, among others.
Then others will get later on as we get more food. I appeal to the CAO to ensure, as supervisor the sub-county chief, that this food is not diverted but delivered to its beneficiaries.
Today in history.
On 19th October 1979, then Minister of Defense Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni addressed the National Consultative Council, the interim parliament after the fall of Idi Amin's regime in 1979. In his address, Museveni was answering to the questions on government's plan to pacify the strife-stricken sub-region. He said this problem was inherited from colonialists who saw Karamoja as a zoo. It has now spilled over with a number of other causes.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun.
MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub, name it. We also offer additional services like honeymoon packages, hiring venues, and vehicles for brides and grooms. Training interns from different beauty schools. We are located on Uganda House, ground floor 5. Call to book for your appointment on 0702 645 015 or 0414 696 229. You can WhatsApp us on 0752 645 005. Email us beyondbeautyparlor and spa@yahoo.com.
Welcome back from that short break, and of course this is our guest corner. If you remember when I introduced the bulletin, I let you know that we will be talking about the National Science Innovations Awards, but in particular we'll also delve a little bit into the National Science Innovation Week, which is coming quite very soon. We know that inspiring Ugandans into technology development and innovation is at the heart of His Excellency, the President of Uganda, and we know that he has done so much more to develop the ICT sector, and he is really struggling hard to make sure that Ugandans can get inspired into new technologies and innovations. The event, the National Science Innovations Award, is an event that will recognize innovations with local content mainly, and then it will also look at outstanding innovators and scientists. And to shed more light on this Science Innovations Award and the week in particular, we have Miss Brenda Nakaziwe. She is the team leader of the National Science Week Organizing Committee, and she's from Science Technology Innovation Secretariat, Office of the President. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Patricia, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for keeping it safe. Because you're free from COVID.
Oh, yes,
if you're here, you're alive, you're COVID-free.
I am. Thank you. And the country is keeping safe as well.
Hallelujah to that. Well, Brenda, we are really blessed to have you. The awards ceremony is one of the activities for the National Science Innovations Week, yes. But we would want, before we delve into the Innovations Award, tell us a bit about the Innovations Week.
Thank you very much, Patricia. And as I connect with the viewers as well, the National Science Week is an innovation, if I could say, from Uganda.
Okay.
It precedes, we have planned it to precede the World Science Day for Peace and Development.
Which is? Which is due in November?
Yes.
Okay.
That is celebrated annually on 10th November, world over. So Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the World Science Day for Peace and Development. So we have not only wanted to celebrate the day, commemorate the day, but we've laid activities to precede the day.
Interesting.
So it works, or it will run from the 2nd to the 10th of November.
Okay.
Yes, to the 10th of November.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. So one of the activities that you people are going to be to have during the Innovations Week is giving out awards. You're going to recognize some great innovators, outstanding scientists. Tell us more about that.
Thank you. Like you've rightfully put it, this is the World Science Day for Peace and Development. There's no better way or no better time to celebrate our innovators, our scientists who work beyond the call of duty.
True.
Lab work, innovation is not just about an 8 to 5 p.m. and you're back. They take a lot of time working, thinking out.
Yes.
Exactly. So, as a country, we have said, for this World Science Day for Peace and Innovation, the best we can give to our innovators is to celebrate them.
To celebrate them.
Some have reached a point of having prototypes, but they cannot actually proceed to commercialization and industrialization.
So it is the first, the very first.
We are pioneering this to celebrate
amazing.
our very own and to tell the world that this is actually what Uganda has.
Okay.
Yes.
And well, it's amazing that it is the very first awards ceremony that is coming from that department. But my question is the sustainability of this. Have you read the future? Have you sneaked a little into the future and see where will this go? How will it unfold in the near future?
Trust me on this. From what we are already seeing, allow me approach it from this point. We started calling out for awards, nominations for the same awards just last week on Friday. And trust me, by the time I came on air, we had about 50 nominations. 50 nominations coming in just a time space of 4 days.
So people are embracing this.
People are embracing this. What does this show you? You've asked me about the future. A snippet into the future is we have unsung innovators out there. And from what we are seeing, people are eager to participate. There's a lot of science blooming out there, and we've just not yet recognized. Yes. So our awards this time round are following or are along the prioritized 6 industrial value chains. I'll take you through very fast. One, we have what we have called the pathogen economy. Economy. Here we are looking at disease-causing organisms, but we are looking at a way of prevention and a way of actually treating. So here innovators should submit innovations around medicines, that is therapeutics, diagnostics, herbal, and any other. And then we are also looking at vaccines.
So if I may put into context,
please.
COVID-X can fit into the pathogen economy category.
Exactly. Exactly. And we are nurturing the science all the way, because for us to, as scientists, to finalize and say this is what we have on the market, we go through what we call clinical trials. And yes, I'll take you there some other time. And then you go to engineering economy. It's another prioritized industrial value chain. That is where science, technology, innovation, Office of the President is going. That's the strategic direction. Imagine you're a runner on the track. You look where you're going. You don't look down. So we are telling the country this is our strategic direction. So here, engineering, everything engineering. What are the technologies, appropriate technologies? What do we have out there? For long have we worked, toiled, and we cannot get simple machines to work with, simple technologies in our homes. So we are seeing innovators sending in quite a lot, mechanical, electrical engineering, and there we are. Another industrial value chain is beauty and apparel. Here we are looking at science, research and development, but in that line we have many materials. You talked about local content, skincare, dermatology, beauty itself. You look so nice, Patricia. Yes.
Can you say that again?
You sure do. Yes. So we are getting scientists in there. The cloth that we put on, we are looking at textile, banana fiber, people coming up with bamboo, and we are having fabrics out of the same. Uganda is among the highest grower of banana. There's a lot from our innovators working with
especially
them.
in the East African region.
Exactly. Working with them, we've been able to see that a lot can be got out of there. So beauty and apparel is another industrial value chain. Go to digital, everything digital. But here we are looking at technologies for interventions. So we have solutions, digital solutions
that can simplify services.
Exactly. Along, you know, the continuum, service, hospital, wherever, school, there we are. So innovators are called upon also in this industrial value chain to do the same. Talk mobility. We are moving along the tier of develop, produce, sell, and use. So here we are looking at transport. Uganda is making buses. You know about the Kira EV, electrical vehicle.
But I thought that what they're doing is assembling. from within the country.
Okay.
We do not have the capacity to build the engines and do it, but assembling cars. I think that's what we're having here.
Can I tell you about this? That bus has about 30,000 parts.
That are made from within?
No, 30,000 parts as a whole.
Okay.
And we have identified scientists along the value chain that can actually contribute a certain percentage here in Uganda. And as we go ahead, recently we're watching Kira Motors talking about producing about 5,000 buses a year. So we are bringing on our innovators along the value chain to contribute to the same. We are getting there. You asked me about a snippet in the future. We are actually getting there. Uganda is doing well, very bright. So the bicycles, the tricycles, everything
that falls
mobility
into the mobility category.
Looking at decongesting the cities, we now have many cities, and looking at environmentally friendly means.
Okay.
So those are the categories. And then the other category is the Woman Innovators Award. Just but one for this year in the country.
There's no Men Innovators Award.
There will be catered for
in the future.
Yes,
in the near future.
In
the near future. Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that.
And
yes,
maybe just to let our viewers out there. Today, the studio is filled with the female. How can I call it? The female feel. Yes. So if we're talking about a female right now, let's leave it at women.
At women.
Women, yes. Men in the future.
It's your call, Patricia.
So women, Women Innovators Award. Okay.
Yes. You should be having a patent and also products on the market. And then finally, we are going to get a national Science Ambassador.
National Science Ambassador.
That is going to be our grand award.
That is not gender-based.
No.
Okay.
Exactly. No, and it's not value chain based. The other 6 industrial value chains.
Okay.
It's not value chain based.
Okay.
The other value chain is agro security. Here we are looking at improving productivity. And when you look at national planning, you actually are able to see that we are looking at increasing income at the household level.
Okay.
So when you talk agro-security, appropriate technologies and all that follows there, so that we increase productivity.
So as we wind up, we just want to understand who exactly will qualify. You've given us all the categories, beauty and then mobility and, everything that falls in there.
Yes.
But we want to know, if I want to participate, what do I need to come up with and how do I do it? Are we doing it online? Do we physically approach the officers? How do we do it as we wind up?
As we wind up.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's very important. It's the gist of the matter. Science, Technology and Innovation, Office of the President, and Private Sector Foundation Uganda, PSFU, we've deemed it fit to recognize the budding innovators, that is the category under 18, and then the above 18. But you should be having a you should be having a prototype.
A prototype.
Not just an idea.
Okay, something already on the market.
Something already that we can see and we can push on for commercialization.
Okay.
It could already be on the market, but also a prototype. We already can see this is your idea, this is the car you're making, this is the hardware you're making, maybe a computer, and you have it, and we now want to commercialize.
And how do we register?
How you register? The numbers are running on the screen, but we have a web page that is being shown on the screen. We have a WhatsApp line. If I could say it, if I could read it out, 0414. I think it's running on the screens. Oh, right there. Thank you. So that is where you send. And we also have an email address where you send your innovations. Take a video, a 2 minutes video, and send over. It is open to the rest of the nations. To the rest of the nation. You're very welcome to submit. And we're extending our deadline. There is a lot of public demand.
And I'm sure, Brenda, we're going to call you again to exhaust this. Yes, before the D-Day.
Yes. So to 24th.
24th.
Sunday. Midnight. We close.
We close.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
It has been very informative, and I'm sure they've picked one or two. And I will re-emphasize this as time goes on. But stay where you are as we summarize the interview. Well, thank you very much. I think you heard it from the horse's mouth. The channels where we will be having those submissions is through the web page, which has been listed onto your screen, and then the WhatsApp number there. Like she said, you must have a prototype. Don't just come with a brilliant idea without any patent, any registration. This means that they are also working with URSB, Uganda Registration Services Bureau. So basically, come organized and let's show the world that we are innovators. Let's take a break and return with more news. Stay with us.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
Welcome back from that short break. I hope you learned one or two. As we continue with our bulletin, let's pick up with Judiciary, where the Judiciary has launched an electronic court management information system to enable tracking all cases. During the launch, the Chief Justice, Alfonso Winyidolo, asked the judiciary and the public to embrace the system, which will help in service delivery. Let's hear more in this report.
Reduction in poverty levels.
The Electronic Court Case Management Information System, ECMIS, will ensure better service delivery in judiciary, misplacement of files, limited access to ongoing cases in court, to both the complainants and the respondents, delays in filing cases, and end corruption.
Which I believe will be a game changer because it will help to minimize person-to-person contact, which has been a breeding place for corruption.
The launch of the system at the judicial headquarters in Kampala will facilitate efficient and reliable collection, organization, distribution, and retrieval of case-specific data.
The major features of the ECMIS are the ability to digitally or electronically file your case in court from the comfort of your chambers or wherever you are. A 24/7 access to the entire digital case file. The ability to receive notifications about any process or action on your case in court through SMS, on your mobile phone, or email.
Finance Minister Matia Kasaija was optimistic that the system will help in speedy management of cases.
Because all the information will be put in one simple statement, and it can be accessed and easily. And I look forward for you getting more resources for me, not only for the judiciary, but for other sectors of the economy.
The head of ICT in judiciary, Justice Geoffrey Chiabwire, appealed for funding to extend the service countrywide.
A total of 60.2 billion shillings was budgeted for the entire strategy. We had budgeted 34.7, and we have been provided with 21 billion. So, Honorable Minister, we continue as we provide accountability to ask for more, like Oliver Twist.
Justice Ekondantende, the chairperson, steering committee, disclosed the benefits of the system to the economy, public, and the bar, although there might be some challenges on the way.
The limit is just our willingness to invest sufficient resources.
Now, Ministry of Education officials have scheduled 25th to 29th of October 2021 as a selection date for Senior 1 and Senior 5. The chairperson, National Selection Committee, Raritazale Kule, says unlike the unusual selection process, this is to be combined and each school is to be presented by one person.
The Ministry of Education and Sports will conduct a selection exercise for Senior 1 and Senior 5 to cater for learners who sat primary leaving examinations and UCE in 2020. Over 2,000 schools are expected to conduct this selection in shifts with one representative per school.
So we are not allowing a head teacher to come with, say, a deputy director of studies. We prefer that the head teacher should come and conduct selection by himself or herself, because that is their core responsibility. But should, just in case of any circumstances that the teacher cannot come, that's when he can delegate, he or she can delegate, but that must be one person.
However, the selection excludes the technical vocational training institutes and primary teachers' colleges due to changes established by the ministry.
We are not, it is part of implementing the TVET policy and ensuring greater access of learners and our young people to TVET institutions. It is for the sake of increasing access to TVET.
The ministry is also challenged with a constant 63% of the vaccinated teachers, saying this might slow down the reopening of schools.
Right now we were expecting to be at least above 70%, but as you hear, we are at 63%, and the last 2 weeks progress has been very, very, very slow.
The selection exercise will be conducted at Kololo grounds, and the ministry is expected to disclose the first shift today by close of business. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
The Higher Education Students Financing Board has launched the online loan application support center of the Students Financing Scheme for the academic year 2021-2022. The launching center at Ndeje University meant the Executive Director, Higher Education Students Financing Board, Michael Wanyama, said that this will ease access to higher education services, and 6 billion shillings has been allocated to support the new cohort of students' loan beneficiaries.
Government, through the Higher Education Students Financing Board, has allocated 6 billion shillings to support 1,500 new cohort of students' loans beneficiaries and over 100 continuing students in this academic year. The Executive Director, Higher Education Students Financing Board, Michael Wanyama, said this at Ndeje University during the launch of the online loan application support center.
It has been simplified that once you register and start the process, you can easily save and start from where you stopped anytime when you are able to resume. If you open our website, you'll just see a word apply now. And the moment you click on that, it's a simple process. We have made it so easy and simple for any applicant, step by step.
Wanyama, however, urged students to provide accurate information.
Don't ask for any money, or we don't have any agents whatsoever. This process is free, loans are free, apart from application fee of 53,000, which you pay through the bank.
Ndeje University Vice Chancellor Professor Elia Blogujo says there is urgent need for government to consider including students pursuing diplomas and degrees in arts.
Government, of course, has done its part, but I think they should first of all increase the funding and at the same time widen the spectrum of the disciplines to be covered.
It really helped me so much, and it's not easy to pay more than 25 million to study at the university. Apparently, I'm graduating in December and with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering.
Robert Bwaita, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The Executive Director of National Bureau of Non-Governmental Organizations, Stephen Okello, has advised the management of Gate of Hope Education Center to elevate the status of the organization into an NGO in order to end the contestation of ownership. This follows the controversy of possession of the Chenjojo district-based civil society organization, which attracted the attention of President Yoweri Museveni, who directed State House Anti-Corruption Unit to intervene in the matter.
In 2007, when she first came to Uganda, Honorata Wasoska, a Polish, envisioned to establish a civil society organization in Chenjojo district.
There are hundreds of people who can testify.
Honorata, in support of her husband, Piotr Wasoski, and few other stakeholders, succeeded in changing the face of the vulnerable in Chenjojo district through providing free education services and other related activities under their umbrella body, Gate of Hope Education Center, which was registered as a civil society organization in Uganda. To date, about 6 schools offering lower, secondary and vocational studies have been established, with thousands benefiting from the project.
That this matter is not only about the ownership, that they are Muzungus, they want to own the organization. No, it's a community-based organization.
The foreign duo entrusted a Ugandan Kemigisa Lilian to take care of the organization and facilitate its growth to attain its objectives. Kemigisa allegedly started acting to the contrary by extorting money from the parents, yet the learners were fully sponsored. Kemigisa went ahead and registered some of the schools under her names, and by the time of her arrest, Kemigisa had initiated the process of incorporating the organization into her own company, including land and motor vehicles. The matter reached the table of President Yoweri Museveni, who asked the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, led by Colonel Edith Nakalima, to investigate the loopholes, which also led to the arrest of Kemigisa Lilian recently.
They have also been intimidating and threatening the donors
which is a criminal case.
Nakalima and some other stakeholders visited the location of Gate of Hope Education Center to ascertain the facts and forge a way forward for the embattled organization, which has invested over 1 billion to the vulnerable in Chenjojo district.
But again, we want to promise that we shall do everything possible, because that is the work that His Excellency the President gave us, and he actually supervises our work himself, so we cannot joke.
Due to the magnitude of investments by the Gate of Hope Education Center, a civil society organization, the Executive Director of the National Bureau for Non-Government Organizations, Stephen Okello, advised the management to consider revising the status of the organization to an NGO and be able to fully harmonize its operations rather than being limited by the conditions of a community-based organization.
A CBO legally is not incorporated, meaning that it's not a body corporate. It cannot acquire property, it cannot do anything. Now the question is, where has all the property been going? Because you cannot put it in the names of the organization.
It should be remembered that the alleged Kemigisa Lilian was remanded to Chigo Prison by KCCA Magistrates Court on charges of obtaining registration by false pretense, theft and conspiracy to defraud. She returns to court on 20th October 2021. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Mityana district wants government to provide over 1 billion shillings to secure government land that risks the threat of encroachers. The district communications officer Edward Muganga says over 10 government-aided schools, churches and hospitals will be demolished by opportunists encroaching on government land.
Over 10 schools, churches and health facilities stand a high risk of being razed to the ground by purported landlords who claim that the public infrastructures acquired the land illegally. The district communications officer Edward Muganga says these land wrangles have hindered the socio-economic development of the district.
Hindered NGOs involved in land because many of them were not direct. In financial year 2018-2019, we stopped 5 CSOs, which were just facilitating land fund. If it is in considered opinion, it can pay over 1 billion. And the issue in Mityana concerning land conflicts will be resolved.
Leaders, they respond to rich people. They don't respond to poor ones. That is why some of them, their land are taken by rich ones.
The district leaders have urged the in-charges of these government facilities to use proper channels to protect the planned evictions. They have also asked officials in the land offices to be transparent in their lines of duty.
You are all aware that guns are a reserve of government. Actually, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, according to the Constitution, is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So many times we see people who are pushing away tenants from land using the gun and men in uniform. So I'm hereby condemning such acts. I know the law is very clear how a gun should be used. The law is very clear how somebody should lose his or her chibanja.
The structural failures in government offices are the primary cause of land wrangles and evictions. Inefficiencies in land offices have also led to this, police and the court, which has led to the delays in handling land-related issues. Introducing new laws will not change this, as some people are proposing. This will change nothing if the deficiencies are still going on.
Yes, Uganda is having a program which is funded or being implemented in partnership with GIZ, and this program looks at making sure that we have meaningful large-scale land-based investments in land.
The Bishop of Mityana Diocese, His Grace James Bukomeko, has expressed fears that if land wrangles are not urgently resolved, The church risks extinction in future.
School, we have Busura Memorial. It is a very big church-founded secondary school in Chiboga. This one, the grandchildren are saying, no, this land was too big to be donated to a church, so they should take out the land. Yet we have the memorandum of understanding between the family and the church.
So there is a fear that in the next 30 years or 50 years, the church will be nowhere. And yet, it is doing a great work in society. Without the church, because the church is known for preaching the word of God and also to teach, because we have schools, and also on the other side of the healthy services.
Land evictions in Central Region remain a challenge due to population pressure, poor relations between tenants and landlords, ignorance about the Land Act, succession and land acquisition. I am Mary Namkose.
And in business, as we start with ICT, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is in a benchmarking partnership with Romania to spur the much-needed technological growth. Through this open-ended memorandum of understanding, ATIS, Uganda's IT Association, and Romania's Cluster IT Association are seeking to expedite mutual prospects while sharing specific IT knowledge.
The partnership with Romania poses benchmarking opportunities for Uganda's growing ICT sector.
Information security, IA, or artificial intelligence, is also key in ensuring that the security of these services is guaranteed, and you can integrate most of these functions in the emerging technologies to support our industry in the BPO and KPO.
Romania's ICT sector has grown in the last 30 years due to a long-established tradition by successive young graduates in mathematics, physics, informatics, and computer science.
We have to take into consideration that IT in itself is a support industry, that IT actually is the base for any other progress, be it in agriculture, in healthcare, in education, and of course in the efficiency of the government. That means that while we concentrate the MOU's actions into the technology field, the spillover effect and the positive effect of this exchange, both of information, of knowledge, and also of business, will permeate to all sectors of life.
Information and Systems Technology tops as one of Uganda's most marketable degree courses, producing graduates annually.
About 77% of Uganda's population is under 35 years of age. And looking at that population, we say that we can easily tap in that population because that is a teachable, youthful, energetic age group. So we call Uganda a young country.
Uganda's ICT sector has grown from over 10% of GDP in 2017 to 25% in 2020. And this partnership seeks to address unemployment by filling the large skills gap. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News in Kampala.
And in West Nile, a Uganda Revenue Authority has given a 3-month promotion as a period of registration of numberless motorcycles in the West Nile sub-region with a 30% discount on the original price. The initiative also aims to support the border riders in the region who have had challenges in registering their motorcycles with the authority.
Motorcycles in West Nile sub-region are either numberless or bear stolen number plates. URA has initiated the promotion so that such unregistered motorcycles are registered. Ivan Kakaire, the URA regional manager in charge of northern Uganda, confirmed the development.
How to harmonize the issue of numberless motorcycles that had become a rampant issue for West Nile. and as an institution we've decided to put them on promotion to voluntarily register their motorcycles for a period of 3 months. So we want to take this opportunity to call upon everyone who owns a motorcycle to voluntarily come to Uganda Revenue Authority. We want to assure them that they will not be penalized, they will not be, no one will intercept their motorcycles. It is voluntary, solely on them.
The heads of business community in Arua City want URA to allow boda operators to pay for the number plates in installments.
And I trust by the time the 3 months ends, a lot more will have been done. And in the case there will still be many more people will want to request to sit down with them again for an extension.
One strongest appeal that I want to push to the Commissioner General of URA is if it were possible to allow our young people to register motorcycle in installment, because 3 months may not be enough. But if they extended this maybe by a year, a financial year, so in a period of 12 months, somebody would have small, bit by bit, somebody would have cleared.
Kakaire added that cross-border illicit trade of fuel and other commodities smuggled between Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda are challenges to URA.
Smuggling that has been noted for fuel, we have decided to take on the street walks to the streets of the towns of Arua City with the leaders as a gesture of warning to the boys who are dealing in this fuel. So we call upon the people to desist from these habits of smuggling, especially the fuel and other goods, due to the proximity to Congo. But we request the communities to know that smuggling is illegal and it has punitive actions if you're caught smuggling, especially your capital.
In an engagement last week with leaders of Arua City, members of Parliament for Ayuvu East and Ayuvu West constituencies, Feta Geoffrey and Lematia John faulted URA officials for brutality and corruption.
All this problem is caused by corruption. This fuel which passes here goes to Congo. How does it return to Uganda market? It is this same enforcement team of URA that pick money from these people to allow the fuel to come back. How does it come back? So some of you, the staffs of URA, are so greedy and corrupt.
Uganda is losing much money into pocket than into consolidated account of URA. This one, there is no doubt.
Uganda Revenue Authority has a negative tolerance to corruption. And I've called on the leaders to report anyone, any staff that is involved in this vice.
And in sports, as we start with baseball, Uganda Baseball and Softball Association have started celebrations to commemorate one of the most iconic baseball players, Jack Robinson. This the association has done through training clinics for the youth with the first at Mbarara's Kacheka Stadium.
Uganda Baseball and Softball Association is spreading the sport as it celebrates the life and times of legendary baseball player Jack Robinson.
This program is called 42 program. It was initiated by a black American baseballer who was called Jackie Robinson. So he was the first black American to participate in baseball and in Major League in America.
In Uganda, the Baseball and Softball Association decided to carry out clinics across the country purposely to spread the sport and also create awareness.
A forum like this, so they can teach the coaches from outside, teach them skills. You know what, like in South Africa, it'll keep them off the streets as well. When we get sport, like I said to you last night, sport brings so much people and stuff together. And with this natural talent, we can just build on it. And I hope for sake, there is these guys that get developed and, in time to come.
The first stop has been in Mbarara at Kacheka Stadium, where about 60 kids from the community were tutored.
Well, at the beginning, it was like I was doubting, but now really what I'm seeing here, I'm really impressed and very happy to see that the Mbarara children are doing great. I mean, they have great talent and they can play this game.
The enthusiasm of the kids, many of whom were first-time contacts with baseball, spoke volumes.
It has really been a roller coaster of fun, learning. We have really learned a lot.
I felt very well and it was fun and I've liked it.
The kids were taken through various basics of the sport, notably batting, fielding, base running and modern catch and throw techniques, many of which were done by experts.
So the kids are extremely excited to play a new sport, but they are very interested to learn.
We've been quite impressed about what we've seen in Barra. There's a lot of talent, a lot of young girls and boys have turned up, and they've showcased what they have. And we believe in the future it's going to be one of the best places that has baseball with them and softball.
Baseball and softball have been played for the past 30 years in Uganda, with many proud to associate.
First of all, I got to make friends, like I made a lot of friends. And secondly, I got to see outside Uganda. Thirdly, I also benefited from softball a lot because right now I'm schooling under a scholarship of softball.
The memory of Jack Robinson, who wore the number 42 jersey to prominence, will continue in Tororo on Thursday before climaxing with a grand finale on Saturday in Kampala. The finale will involve excellent kids from the regional meets play a competitive game that many expect to be exciting. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
In gymnastics, the Association of Uganda is engaging some of its key publics in a training workshop that will achieve theory and practical improvements. The 5-day workshop is attended by 20 participants from across the country.
Physical Education Commissioner Reverend Duncan Mugumya has advised Ugandans to embrace sport not only for competition but also for health and improved social behavior through teamwork.
You want to take away stress, come to sports. You want to have social gatherings, you want to have joy, you want to have smiles, come to sports.
He was opening a 5-day Gymnastics Association training workshop at Kibuli Koa PTC.
We've had coaches on the ground, but these weren't certified coaches. So for us to do work, we need to first be empowered. So with this kind of empowerment, we have the knowledge, and they say knowledge is power.
The workshop is achieved in partnership with a South African facilitator who intends to arm Ugandans for the future.
We're basically here to promote not only gymnastics, but more importantly, fundamental movement, fitness, health and friendship. What we are doing is qualifying people to be able to implement the programs as fundamental movement programs in the relevant regions, and also to complement to the physical education programs in the schools.
And that ends our bulletin news tonight at 10. Once again, we do appreciate you staying with us up to now. But before we sign out, let's have a recap on our headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In our top stories, the Prime Minister Nabanja launches Presidential Advisory Committee on Budget. Uganda receives more 700,000 doses of Sinovac vaccine. And Ministry of Health to vaccinate 8.5 million children against polio. And lastly, in sports, former Zambia coach Mitchell charged for sexual assault in South Africa.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Once again, thank you so much for keeping it with us. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Patricia, Lukoma, Mpango, and on sign language, I was joined by Elizabeth Nakakoni plus Margaret Akabagweri. They are on camera. Stay tuned.